Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for that hot tag, and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Why do you do that? That's when you should quit wrestling, and you're better off rolling a thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. One more, sometimes you're distracting that referee, because the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched to the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa! Yay, Bob Squad. What's happening right now? This could have been out a day earlier, and why wasn't it? I plumb forgot. I watched a program, the Hulu edition, limited commercial interruption, not limited enough, the Hulu edition, and I then started doing other stuff, and I just forgot. I knew something was amiss. I'm forgetting part of this. I always watch this and something happens. And then later, when it was just too late, at the night, I go, oh yeah, that's right, I record myself talking about it. I'll be damned. Well, here we are. It is the Raw after WrestleMania. It's not WrestleMania Night 3. It doesn't feel like the Raw after WrestleMania. This feels like the 40 minutes or the half an hour of minutes of talking about WrestleMania, like or after about the Super Bowl after it happens, or a UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship mixed martial arts competition, if you will. It felt like that, because damn, there's a lot of talking. And again, I'm only watching the Hulu edition, so I don't know what kind of shenanigans I missed. But right now, I'm going to take a sip of Pepsi Zero Sugar. Pepsi Zero Sugar tastes just like Pepsi, but we can do Bob Squad if you want to. And you should. Go to PepsiCola.com right now. Enter the promo code BobSquad, and nothing happens. It's a waste of time. I need a beverage. Hold on. That was outstanding. Okie dokie. Again, all the talking and promos always get priority when they put the regular broadcast to Hulu, so maybe I missed some wrestling. But I have a funny feeling I didn't miss too much. It is the April 4th edition of Monday Night Raw. We open the show with a long Cody Rhodes thing. Cody Rhodes is here with the music, and everyone's cheering, and they're happy to see him. And he's got a terrible tattoo, and they forgive him until they don't. Give that time. And he cuts a wonderful emotional promo. Did he milk it for 18 days? Yeah. I'm not going to knock it this time, because it was the first Raw. This is the first time he's back when we know he's back. He can't show up every week and milk an extra 5 minutes of applause on live TV. This was fine. It's the opening segment. Those opening segments are always long and talking anyway. And since Seth came out and surprisingly said nothing and was relatively quick for what they usually make Seth do, it was fine. Again, listen, I don't work there. It's not my job to time the show. I'm not in a headset getting yelled at, so I have no dog in the fight. I'm just saying those cheers are going to turn to boos, and those boos are going to turn to quiet if they try it every week to milk what the Cody's reaction. Keep in mind, this is still the WrestleMania crowd. These are the diehards that have traveled from to and fro, wherever the hell. They've traveled really far and spent money on hotels and this, that, and tickets, and way too much money this weekend to see WrestleMania when they can watch it for free on the Peacock, which is a miserable experience for totally different reasons. So, I don't know where they are next week. Maybe they're just in Pittsburgh. Who the hell knows? Maybe they go up. They haven't been on the West Coast in a bit. Maybe they go to San Fran or Sacramento, one of those up there places. Maybe they go to some goofy place in Florida or one of the Carolinas. Well, the Carolinas, they'll love them. But you know what I'm saying. Once they start, hitting up Boston or, maybe Cody's reaction will be different. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll still be great. But they've made it clear they're keeping him a babyface, and he without saying Roman Reigns' name. He said he wants to be the champion of this place. He did it in a great way by showing a picture and telling of his dad holding the title belt, and he said belt 14 times. I wonder if they're gonna let him keep being the guy who says wrestling and belt on the show. If he does, he has to be the only one. They kind of looked the other way when we had Becky 2 belts a couple of years ago, but that's fine, really. Not the end. That wasn't, it was alliteration, so they just kind of went with it. But yeah, I was a little curious. He said belt and pro wrestling a lot of times. I'm like, okay. But again, if he's the only one who says it, it's going to be special, and it might help him survive. Whatever. We knew he was going to be hot for like a couple of weeks, so I expect next week and a week after he'll still be really hot. But who knows? Give it time. But anyway, a lot of emotion here talking about his dad, and of course, if you mention Dusty Rhodes, everyone's going to get behind you. Seth Rollins interrupts naturally. Rhodes offers. Seth says nothing except that does the goofy laugh. Seth shows up to stare at a man and laugh at him, and Cody offers his hand for a handshake, and after much deliberation, Seth shakes it, but then he kind of keeps laughing, and Cody looks a little suspicious but content. So, I mean, I kind of knew during WrestleMania, obviously Cody's winning this, and there's going to be rematches. My prediction is, Seth will get the win back because they love their 50-50 booking. I think Seth is, at this point, he can lose a lot of matches in a row and not lose any clout as a top guy who can win anything at any time. He's a man to beat for a little bit. So is Owens, for that matter. That's unrelated. We'll talk about him later. Okay, so that was the opening segment. And then, Kevin Owens. Oh, goodness gracious. Again, no wrestling match yet. This is the second thing I've seen. Kevin Owens comes out, cuts a wonderful promo about how it really wasn't fair how Stone Cold beat him because he being Kevin Owens, had a bad back, and I'm going to take some more Pepsi Zero. Goes down smooth. And again, it's been a day because I forgot that I record these somehow. How did I miss that? I've been writing my script for the Batman versus the Snake Eyes and rewriting it too. Like, I'm really like hell, and I do this every time. It was going to be a 5 or 7 minute fight scene, and now it's going to be another 40-minute freaking colossal. It's disaster. It's going to be like that. He-Man was 45, Transformers was 40, 41, something like that. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. Sorry, guys. I'm making a movie again. Can't help myself. Hopefully it doesn't break a half hour. But anyway, there's a lot going on. So Kevin Owens reminds everyone that he main evented a WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin. But we're pretty sure, hopefully, is Stone Cold Steve Austin's last match. I think it was the perfect weekend for Austin to go out. I do not want to hear about him and showing up to Saudi Arabia, bouncing Kevin Owens around, and the rematch doesn't mean anything. But I'm trying to stay optimistic that doesn't happen. And then Owens is interrupted by Ezekiel, who is Elias from like a year or two ago. Elias is shaved. He's wearing tights instead of jeans, and he swears he is not Elias. He is the younger brother of Ezekiel, of Elias. Who the hell cares? We had to lose Big E, and we replaced him with a stupid E, as allegedly the younger brother of an almost as stupid E. Little backstage scoop I got, just a little something on the side. It's the same guy. Okay. Kevin Owens gets mad and leaves, and Ezekiel was standing there with his thumb up his ass. Not literally, but who knows? I didn't see the commercial break. Move on, next segment, more talking. 3 in a row. That's the hat trick. Bianca Belair comes out. She has a black eye. Her eye is busted. It's her left eye. And then she put a condom over her left eye and started rapping with 2 other girls. And they called themselves the Learning Channel. TLC, but that's okay. Well, apparently Bianca didn't want any scrubs because she went in uninterrupted. Nobody interrupted her. We didn't do we did 3 talking segments in a row. We didn't do 3 in a row with being interrupted. And again, this is the Hulu edition, so who knows. But anyway, Bianca had a black eye, and she cut, again, a wonderful promo where she only said her EST catchphrase at the very end, but she got there naturally. And she talked about how Becky messed with her and tried to hurt her or injure her and take her hair, and she gave Becky everything she had, and this time she was ready for her. And she earned this. She's going to keep fighting. She thanked everybody. Excuse me. I'm burping out my Pepsi Zero. Promo code Bob Squad. Nothing happens. Good promo, but again, I've said this the week before, last Monday, like the last couple of weeks. Bianca is just getting away from EST, no more Eastern Standard Time. Bianca, she still says it because it's the thing she says, because it's going to say it on her merch. So you got to say it, but she waited to get there until it was the run. Until she got people behind her first and then said it, which was really smart. Instead of just let me say my thing now, like the dewdrop Nikki ASH syndrome. Wiggle my fingers. Oh my god, camera's on me. Start wiggling. Say superhero 14 times. Just say it. You don't even need a sentence. Just keep repeating it like Bart Simpson on a chalkboard. So this is positive. I guess there'll be a rematch. Post WrestleMania season, there's always a handful of rematches, and it's not the end of the world. I just hope it's not all. It's good to have a couple of things that carry on that are done in whatever the next pay-per-view is. They didn't say we're not there yet. They usually wait a bit. It's instead of like 3 or 4 weeks between. It's usually like a good 6 or 8 week somewhere. So I expect like whatever the Sunday, whatever the weekend is before Memorial Day, which is the end of May here in the States. I forgot. Sorry, guys. I'm expecting like mid to late May. So we get a little break from the PPVs. Maybe AEW has one, and if they do, I'll order it and I'll cover it right here in Hardest Part of the Ring. How about that? Okay. Let's move on, Bob. Talking to myself. We have a wrestling match. The 4th thing I've seen is a wrestling match on the wrestling show. The NXT Championship, Dolph Ziggler, who successfully defended against Braun Breaker at NXT Take It or Leave It. What the hell was it called? God damn. NXT Stand in the Place Where You Were. Think About Direction. No. Those are REM lyrics. Stand and Deliver. Yes. Anyway, Dolph cheated and won there, and him and Braun had a good match, 2 segments here, and meaning there was a commercial break in the middle. Pardon me. Braun wins the NXT Championship on Raw, so no reason to watch NXT. Okie dokie. There you go. Braun Breaker. They can't call him Steiner. I've never met anyone named Braun. There was a Braun. They fired Braun, and they hired Braun. But, anyway, the quicker picker-upper comes next as, damn it, Bob, what year is it? MVP is in a ring with Bobby Lashley. MVP was not there for WrestleMania. So Bobby was a good guy, but now MVP is hyping up Bobby, and Omos interrupts, of course. So this is 4 of 5 segments so far are talking. And it's a swerve. MVP nails Bobby from behind, and Omos beats up Bobby Lashley, so they'll have a Bobby-Omos rematch. I guess MVP is clearly with Omos. MVP is upset because Bobby Lashley didn't need him. If MVP is supposed to be he's an opportunist, he's a shady business guy type of manager, wouldn't he just want to stay with the guy who won last night, even if he does feel slighted? Doesn't it make him more money to stay with the winner of that? No? Okay, well. It's just wrestling. Don't think about it. Oh, okay, well, don't think about why less people watch it than ever, then, I guess. The 6th segment, 5 of 6, is also talking. Zelina Vega is next to Carmella, and I thought they were going to wrestle a tag team competition or something of some sort. My friend Dan Housen. Of some sort. Zelina says what we've all been thinking for several months, and she just says it. Carmella, it's your fault. You're always distracted with this gimmick no one cares about. She should have just said that. Which is a shame, because Carmella's At one point on SmackDown, she was the most entertaining thing. And it's not just, I mean, yeah, she's a hot lady then, she's a hot lady now. I'm not saying she's not a hot lady, but I'm just saying a hot lady does not a good TV show make. You can see a hot lady anywhere. And I do. On certain websites, they get nude. How about that? And do sexual acts. It's on the internet. Anyway, some other time. I'll put a link in the description. No, you won't, Bob. You will not do that. Zelina gets into a brawl with Carmella, and Carmella runs away and jumps into the lap of Corey Graves because they're either getting married or got married a day ago or whatever, something like that. And he's the announcer, if you don't know. And then Carmella and Graves start furiously making out for no reason whatsoever. This was crap. This was complete. I'm a Zelina fan and a longtime supporter of Carmella when she has something to sink her teeth into that isn't Graves' mouth. And I don't see... I know Corey Graves is cleared to wrestle. I don't think he's really part of this angle. I think they just have to acknowledge the fact that, I mean, since I think on the YouTube show or their website, whatever, they kind of have their own goofy reality show, like a Ms. and Mrs. type of thing. But Ms. and Mrs. is actually on the USA Network. It's like its own show, but I don't know. But because it's so well known that the two of them are an item, that you just kind of have to go, okay, well, how much longer is it they're going to not acknowledge it? Why they are pointlessly, furiously making out and the camera stays on them, I don't understand. Oh, because Zelina and Carmella are going to have to wrestle at some point. They're still both heels, as far as we know, unless Zelina... I would like this, and hear me out. I felt that when Zelina won Queen of the Ring, instead of going into a tag team with Carmella for no reason, other than the fact that they needed bodies to fill spots, Zelina, when she was the queen, she should have been the Queen of Queens. She's from Queens, New York, and she won the Queen of the Ring. You can't use that? She's from Queens, and she's the queen? King of Queens was a really popular show in the United States of America. It's a sitcom. Whether you like it or not, or think Kevin James is funny or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, it was a popular show, and everyone knows what it is, more or less, right? So instead, they make her. Gee, I wonder whose idea this was. Make her suddenly have a fake British accent. I think. Oh God, I hope I'm not messing up her ethnicity. I think she's Puerto Rican. And anyway, we know. I don't know what part of Queens. I doubt it's Astoria. Good God, I'm trying not to... Jackson Heights, maybe something? I don't know. We could always look that up. Who gives a shit? No one listening to this knows what the hell Queens is, let alone these stupid sub-neighborhoods. But the point is, she should have just had a freaking attitude. I'm from New York. I'm the queen. I'll tell you, you don't talk to me that way. I talk to you that way. But you can heal her up or you can babyface her up, but have her act like that tough. Because she's 5 feet tall, right? So have her get in the face of either someone who's 6 feet tall like a Charlotte or someone like Carmella for that matter. And just tell her what's what. Because Zelina's got an attitude. She stood up against the company. You know, she got fired or whatever for, you know, saying something pro-union when it wasn't the unpopular thing to do when they were all losing their third-party stuff during the pandemic. So... And a lot more the fans, you know, when she came back, that they didn't say it on commentary, but that was the big surprise. Like they're like, oh, she got a lot of love from a lot of fans when she came back for that reason. So she should have that attitude. She should be that spunky little in-your-face queens. Don't take no shit from nobody. I'm the queen, bitch. What you gonna do about it? And yes, Charlotte's nickname is the Queen. Well, okay, well they can have that feud then. And I know Charlotte's gonna win the goddamn feud. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying. Queen of Queens. It's right there. It was in your lap, and you went with fake British accent. When we just inducted Charmel into the Hall of Fame, who did the exact same thing 10 years ago. Lazy. Lazy. Uncreative. So, Zelina's a waste. That was way too much time spent in that segment. I am sorry. Austin Theory is backstage, and the Usos approach him. But when the Usos approach Austin Theory, they each approach from one side of the screen. What kind of... this is what I'm talking about. Overproduced bullshit. Why would the Usos be walking from completely different sides of this giant arena to Austin Theory? Because it looks better visually for they all come in on them, and yeah. No, it doesn't look better visually. It looks stupid visually because the eyeballs notice these things. It's like God, we're not filming Shock-a-Lot, you fucking idiots. Okay, Bob, are you okay? You okay, Bob? Anyway, they hype up a Theory. They tease him for losing, but they get him pissed off. They tease him for losing at WrestleMania, but then they make him pissed off because I guess there's a 6-man tag. And the Usos and Austin Theory, for whatever reason, are teaming up to wrestle RK Bro and Finn Balor. And they have the second match of the night so far on Edge. And this is the only there are only 2 matches on a Hulu edition. This is the second and final one. Who the hell won this match? Because I didn't write it down. Oh, I think Austin pinned Finn, of course. Yeah. Theory pinned Finn. Okay, very good. There was no real reason to have this. RK Bro and the Usos aren't feuding because they're both the tag team champions from each, so they have nothing to fight about anyway. But they fought last week anyway, just because the Usos were there, which will bring us to our main event, quote-unquote. Edge and his Creatures of the Night show up with Damian Priest, and the fans... I hate chants, and I think anyone who does a what chant should be either kicked out or punched in the spine. But in this case, they had, if you're there live, you saw some stars, but well, actually no you didn't, but you saw so much talking. So they're restless because they saw, as far as I know, 2 matches, and if there are 2 other little matches, if there are 2 other matches on this thing, they were little. There's no way they were, it's always 2 or 3 segments that get left off, and they're either matches of really unimportant stuff, and it's almost always 24/7, or women who are not in the title picture every freaking time. So anyway, Edge calls everyone sheep, and the people chant, "We are sheep." And it was hilarious. Because, to me, that's funnier. If you're going to fuck with the heel, cutting his promo, just say, what, and even if the heel properly shuts you down with an awesome zinger, you're just going to say, what, like a stupid mouth breather, no matter what. So it's an unwinnable argument. You're just a child screaming, and you're a bad human, and you eat too many nachos, and someone should stab you in the eyes with their car keys. So that's what I think if you do what. And when Edge says "We are sheep" and they chant "We are sheep," that's a much funnier way to mess with the heel. Because what's he gonna do? All he can do is shrug and go, "Yeah, well, I got you. You got me." Yeah, it's like Lois Lane saying to Christopher Reeve, "You got me. Who's got you?" And then smokes 14 cigarettes. Bob, you okay? Sure. That was the movie where they were in Metropolis, flying past the Statue of Liberty? I don't understand. They never addressed that in that film. Okay, Bob, you okay? Yeah. Not okay. I'm losing my mind. Former World Tag Team Champion. Okay. They chant something else. What does this say on my notes here? Air pose, air raid? I don't know what it was. Alright, whatever. I made some notes that apparently I wrote it in bad penmanship. Damian Priest is there with them, and the fans were chanting, "We don't care." And then Damian Priest calls them losers, and the fans chant, "We are losers." Clap. That's hilarious. I LOL'd. I LMAO'd. I laughed in Spanish. Just like it's spelled. I was jawing my ass off. Because they were saying, "What can you do? We are losers." Clap. And all. Damian Priest goes, "Yeah, well, thanks for telling. Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay." Hilarious. And I hope that trend continues to get us through the Creatures of the Night Edge program that's going on. AJ Styles runs out. I didn't write this down. I just remembered this. And he ducks Priest, and he shoves him over the barricade and runs in, and AJ's beating up Edge. And I think Priest run in, and they started beating up AJ. And hey, someone thought to finally have officials and referees run in to stop the concerto when AJ was about to do it to Edge. So if a babyface is ever going to get remotely even or look fairly competent, thankfully, there's plenty of referees and officials in WWE to make sure No babyface ever looks remotely competent. If a heel does something evil, we will give him 15 minutes uninterrupted, to do whatever. If a babyface bows up for one moment, we are all gonna stop him because, well, it's just wrestling. Don't think too much. Okay. Hey, they're just ratings. Don't think too much. All right. Fuck you too. Okay, Bob. Stressed out. I gotta do a goddamn comedy show tomorrow, and why do I do that? I think it's because it's my only social circle. I became the guy I hated. I'm just there now. The main event is talking, and it's uninterrupted talking. No one even interrupts the talking. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman, who is terrific, and the Usos are back. Roman Reigns cuts a long promo telling us, and he was wonderful with it. Paul Heyman was great too. I do laugh every time. I have to laugh every time Roman says he refers to Heyman as wise man. And Heyman says, yes, my tribal chief. He's such a groveling little slime ball. It's funny every time to me. So I didn't mind that. I don't remember anything about it except Roman was great. He's got great teeth. It was a good promo. We just saw 2 matches, and thankfully, on neither of those two matches, did anyone take a reckless, stupid bump on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. You got the guy. Oh, pardon me, I belched. Sorry, guys. You got the guy in an abdominal stretch, and you grab the rope for extra leverage, and you get a concussion from the angry rush, and you get paid with a diet soft beverage, Pepsi Zero. The hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.